Hi, I'm Rick Moss, and I'd like to read some of my poetry. Okay, start off with religion. I dreamt of a flamboyant, youthful God, peevishly reciting the facts of the universe, while smugly juggling a handful of sizzling, sputtering stars. His indigestion, as complete an act as a snake swallows whole every right-sized, wide-eyed, still wiggling meal, the slow sawing of divine jaws begin upon the new food from any womb. God made mortal. I will lie down dreaming I am falling from an icy, slippery cliff, and by the fire blowing in the sky, I am burnt by the sun so high it wouldn't sink, and laid so long in one position, to finger the iced waters it wouldn't drink, only dry, hot heaven bent down, and that the poison sipped. Then up to a livid mouth the earth was tipped, and all creatures dug in or coiled, when heaven itself is self-oiled. Always doubling over on its bone-thin side, heaven staggered, fell, and spread-eagle died. But disgustingly coughing near the end, the dregs of its shriveled lungs filled the void with men, spat forth again and again. It was all so many divine convulsions, and I remember them. Okay, here's a long one. Upheaval. A malcontented earth will not make room for the falling leaves anymore. Pine needles retaliate, slicing straight into the ground. The world buckles and will not keep the trees anymore. Shaking off the firm hold of their roots, they would gladly fall and rot, but the earth won't have them. So they stand and teeter in the wind, dead and ruthless, but angry. The rivers and seas throw all their life upon the leafless banks and spit their infestations back onto the beaches and the bulkheads, and everything would gladly rot and wonderfully stink. But the earth wants less of flesh than it does with the now comically wobbling, angered, dead trees. So it bends to toss all these bewildered lumps of life back into the worldly fluids. But the stubborn waters catch them, but to fling them back. So a constant, deadly hurtling back and forth begins. The planet itself refuses to look at the moon anymore and whips it off into the sun. But the sun wants less of a dry, dead world than it does of a wet and green and icy one. So the moon makes for a different world, but none will have it. So in the deaf cold of empty space, the moon somehow rings with a groan and a wail and wanders away. In fact, all the planets with satellites dismiss all their moons, and they all soundlessly yip and yelp with the melodious tones of a dry, fleshy bell, and wander away. And now the sun strains to burn the brightest and the hottest ever, to incinerate all the annoying debris around it. But all the worlds merely wilt a little, not like flowers, but like weeds scrubbed with boiling dew. And they back off and wander away, soon freezing solid. Solemnly, they crack and quake and sink back into the shadows of their own crystallized shapes. And even now the stars amidst the galaxy, repugnant of each other, rush to meet and clash and fall down on the hard bottom of the galactic spiral like exquisite dinner plates dropped from a mile high. No clatter heard, nothing shattering, but only the noiseless spew of ceramic dust. Thus the spray of a stellar mist anoints its own dissolution. And then the dissolving galaxies make for the emptiness at crazy speeds, completely intolerant of each other, hot and hotter, seeking the coolness of dissipation, and at long last, stellar extinction. But infinite galaxies, confused and flustered over which way to go, collide and tear each other apart. So the universe, once entire of itself, is now the fragments of its own revulsion. Everything in it is repelled by everything in it. Each quirk rebels. The atom is in. The atom is out. Nothing is in. To bind is a sin. So everything is useless. The animal of matter and energy declawed. The thrust of the lusty skies over all the iced worlds desexed. Everything's out, not just dead, but out and gone. Nothing's around. Until the thing, the proud, bright, loud, the God thing, the damn thing, pulls up to the missing curb, climbs out and spits. It is the all. Whore and pimp and John, ugly and callous, foolish and fat. The despicable thing has come to make order, and quickly and truly and orderly. It is the death of beauty. Okay, if you survive that one, here's another one. Along the same line. Not the kiss of God. Here you can rape God and not disturb creation, but you will only defile yourself with such a divine sensation. So ravage the universe instead. It is neither divine nor innocent. It is simply, wonderfully, massively dead. Okay, so Armageddon. Inundation doesn't matter, but only if destruction causes the rebirth of a celestial recreation. So fuck it. Kill us all, for around our debris, God will crawl. Fatigue. Let the earth pose as the sea, the sky change places with the ground. Living, let death make life unsound. For everything is useless to me, so crush everything down to the single size of a pea, and squeeze it back into the infinitesimal egg. For another universe, let another God beg. when women rule. The gentle sway of the way the river wanders invigorates the flexing of her muscular soul. So while walking calmly on the shore, she can lift the scene far above conceptual levels and give it back to God. Human. I had a vision of the end of the universe, a beautiful flash, the color of God. Afterwards, the infinite hearse. I have my own dreams of the end of our race. Nothing really happens. No one dies. We simply have no place. Okay, now I'm going to read from my book titled 100. And what they are is two-liners, 3 or 4-liners, each independent of the other. None are titled. And I will pick and choose from this book. I don't have time to read the entire 100. Now life, that's a gift. Every god off balance will give it. Now death, that's the divine pivot. Know the maze, or in the maze, know the mouse. Everyone warns everyone else.